Hello everyone and welcome to the Captain's Video Blog. We are Monday, May the 2nd, 2016. Actually, we're May the 3rd, it's Tuesday. It's almost 2 p.m. And I haven't slept yet. Why is that? Well, you might remember that yesterday I went to a friend's house to see Payback. And after the end, we literally played WWE 16 for 5 hours and a half. And then I went back home. And then I stayed up until noon. And then I slept until 8 p.m. And yeah, I mean, I guess I should have gone to sleep earlier, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't come like that. So, this video blog will be talking exclusively about wrestling. Other stuff that happened will be in the description as always. So, Payback, a pretty solid show. I mean, it set up a very tedious episode of Raw by Vince McMahon announced that both Stephanie and Shane would be running Raw from now on. And I mean, it showed because if the episodes that were handled by Shane looked great, those by Stephanie McMahon, I mean, not that much. I mean, there's one point where you want to change same old shit and stuff, and it's only natural. And yeah, while it wasn't that bad, there were moments that were kind of tiring. Like at one point, the Raw had been going on for an hour and a half, and I couldn't believe that it was only 3:30 in the morning. But yeah. So Payback started off pretty bad, and I mean the actual show, no, the pre-show that had the Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler and Kalisto versus Ryback. Pretty good match, that one, even though it was literally a match that was like, well, we gotta give him a championship match, because, WrestleMania, am I right? And it didn't bother finding him another number one contender until the Raw the night after Payback in a Battle Royale won by Rusev. Nice move there. Yeah. Also, there's stuff about Ryback probably leaving the company, so who knows. But yeah, it was a cool match. Some nice spots. Cannot blame them for not doing stellar stuff. They are on the pre-show. It's for free on YouTube. So yeah, pretty bad start with the Vaudevillains against Enzo and Cass. Not because of why the if you watched, you know that because why is that? Enzo ate the rope, head bounced on the ring, and he was knocked out. It's just apparently kind of a big concussion, so he'll be back, in a couple of weeks, I guess, depending on the tests. I mean, it's either going to be a Dolph Ziggler or a Corey Graves. Let's hope the former rather than the latter. What else was there? The Intercontinental Champion. No, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Pretty solid match, actually. And I mean, obviously, they are destined to do this forever. And it's a good choice to have put them on the card after the tag team match, because holy shit, you needed to get some life into this arena. Kevin Owens won with a finish that was Kevin Owens-esque. He remained on commentary after the match because he judged that he was rightfully at his place in the Intercontinental Championship title picture. Words, am I right? He got attacked by Sami Zayn, and that fucked up the finish for Cesaro, because he had locked the Miz in a crossface, and the Miz tapped, but the ref didn't see it, which set up number one contenders match at Raw yesterday night. I didn't really understand how it ended. Was like an interference before or after a pin. I do think that Kevin Owens is now the number one contender, but I mean, it's weird, because Sami Zayn was holding the belt at the end, so maybe there's no winner. I don't know. But yeah. And then The Miz won by small package against Cesaro at Payback. And I do think that it was the women's championship match that ended in a way reminiscing of the Montreal Screwjob. I don't really understand why they did that. There's literally no need to do that in 2016. Even though it's, I don't know, do they want to antagonize Bret Hart for saying, I don't really give a fuck about coming to the WWE? But yeah, I think it was a good match. Natalia and Charlotte are two very talented performers. Despite what you might think, despite the fact that Charlotte only ever wins because of her father being there. He won't be there at the rematch, a submission match at Extreme Rules. He's been banned by Stephanie. Yeah, and in the women's division, Emma scored a win against Becky. It's kind of a it's the same shtick as the Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn situation, except that Emma and Becky aren't friends who walked the world together. Emma is a graduate from Lance Storm's academy, while Becky Lynch is a world-traveled performer. They might know each other from before NXT, but that probably isn't as deep as for example, Becky Lynch's friendship with Paige. But yeah, Emma with some really good heel tactics and eye poke before the Michinoku driver that got her the win. Michinoku driver in the women's division. That's something, I'm fairly sure that 3 years ago you wouldn't have seen that. That's kind of disheartening, actually. I failed to remember what is next. Oh yeah, Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho. So Chris Jericho is a strange case. He came back before Royal Rumble, said that he would win it, and came close to being in the final scrum, if I may say so. He was really close. But he didn't win it. And he won it at WrestleMania against AJ Styles in a totally, it's unexpected because Chris Jericho has this kind of habit to come back and put people over, puts a line in your resume to beat Chris Jericho, even more so at WrestleMania, even though it didn't always work for people, namely Fandango, who was on the kind of in the corner of Goldust this Monday on Raw. Goldust, who lost against Tyler Breeze. Just so you know that, wow, it's all going to shit, huh? So yeah, Chris Jericho versus Dean Ambrose. Ambrose won. I think it's a case about talk shows in the middle of the ring, and it ended on Raw with the Ambrose Asylum getting cancelled and Chris Jericho smashing Mitch the Plant over the head of Dean Ambrose, and that's kind of shitty finish to all that feud, if that's even the end. And then the match between AJ Styles and Roman Reigns, which was pretty fucking stellar, like a good match of the year candidate, like for example Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. And to have a great match, you need to have two great competitors. So hats off to Roman Reigns, who brought the brutality on at Payback as well as on Raw, where he went back to his ways of being a brutal bastard, and that's like something I love about Roman Reigns. He works better when he has no words to say. Like this time he was, you know, kind of avenging his cousins who had been attacked by AJ Styles, despite the fact that AJ Styles was the one originally attacked by the Usos, you know, chair shots to the back. That's kind of shitty. Yeah. But the match was really great. Stopped twice. One for a timeout on count out. One for disqualification. Both times restarted with the rules that caused the end removed. And an Extreme Rules match between the both of them. That's gonna be great, isn't it? Yeah. So more on that in the description because I'm running out of time. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Let's start our champions. Haha. I talked about something else than wrestling.